stream this to
Oh,
Facebook?
we're live now.
Is it?
It
Yeah.
says live,
Prove it.
yeah.
Prove it. Where? I don't see
It pops
Listen
up on
up.
my screen.
Corey, know your role.
Okay.
AKA
Yo,
host.
welcome to Beat People Podcast. This is episode 58, and we have a special guest, Manu Ritamero. Am I saying that right? From Befaco. And so we have special guests. We got Ken in a blue room, and then we got Travarsi in a starlit room over there. And welcome to Inky, who's in the chat. And yeah, I'm B-Boy Tech. So let's go around the room, say what's up, and we'll start with Ken. What's up, man?
Hey, I'm in a blue room.
Looks good too, man.
Yeah, so we've been talking about this for how many different shows now where I've been in that jail cell of a room,
Yeah.
and I'm finally in the new studio. However, you'll notice this is a disclaimer for the rest of the show. It's going to sound like I'm in an echo chamber in a reverb plate. The acoustic treatment is not installed yet, so yeah, that won't be installed until after NAM.
I
Um,
feel like your life parallels like the trajectory of a typical rap star. The idea of you have to have either been shot or been in jail, or you just got out of a jail cell type of a room. Now you're in this fancy blue room with a stripper pole in back, and it's just all aligning.
By stripper pole, he means cable holding pole. So that's all cables on there. Let's keep it clear. But
Okay.
yeah, man, yeah. So the
The
acoustic treatment
photo.
should be in here after NAM, but I am finally in here. Half of the studio is wired up. The other half is still not wired up. But I am making it happen, and I'm excited to have this show today and talk to some great people.
Word, Travarsi, what's going on?
Hey, I'm just gearing up for Nam. It's like
That's
the
what's
it's
up.
like the real Christmas for me, the synth Christmas,
It
honestly.
is. It is. And we got such a really dope show coming up. I'm so excited for that. It's great.
Yeah, the lineup is gonna be it's amazing. Like we have Nasty Nachos from WMDU, Ali the Architect.
Mhm.
Come on, help me out. We have
Cuckoo.
the
Cuckoo.
list.
Cuckoo's gonna be
Kiko,
there.
Cuckoo, that's right.
Mhm.
Ricky Tinez.
Yeah, Ricky
Uh,
Tina. This is like a like you got yourself, you got Space Racer.
yeah, Lance,
Afro Rack will be in the building
Mitch Lance.
collecting modules
Yep.
and
Afro Rack will be in
donations for
there.
the Afro Rack movement. So if you have anything, doesn't matter how small, doesn't matter how big, if you have anything that you'd like to donate to the Afro Rack movement, which is basically
Great
trying to
organization.
teach modular to inner city youth and, try to get more people exposed to electronic music and have the access to be able to create. If you want to bring anything out, if you want to donate anything like that, Afro Rack will be in the building to help with that. So Aaron's definitely going to be there. I'm gonna,
Aaron and
I'm
Afro Rack is doing a lot of great work. One of the things that stands out to me, like this is the kind of stuff, the reason why you would want to donate to support his cause. He was working with some kids in Chicago where we're both from. And one of the kids asked him, he's like, I heard that with synthesis, you can make tones and music that helps heal people. Can you teach us how to do that? And I just thought that was so profound. It's that kind of impact that he's looking to have on kids to give them to expose them to something else. So definitely come out and support him. We all got a ton of modules laying around, or you may have something that you don't particularly care for, might think it may be interested to donate something. That would be the place to donate to. Afro Rack, he'll be in the building, so that's really dope.
Yeah.
And we have Manu. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Glad to be
Yeah.
Saturday night enjoying an evening with nice people.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And so tell us that you're in Spain. What time is it there again?
It's 8 p.m.
8
8
p.m.
p.m.
All
So
right, right on
night
time.
is
Right
young.
on time for chilling at Manu's crib
Yeah.
on a Saturday night. It's like a
Yeah.
hang.
Nice.
This is the best of the plans.
That's right. He says the best of a plans. Perfect.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I'm so glad to
Well,
be here. Thanks for having me. It's
yeah,
so
you know
nice.
what? I'm sorry it took so long to get you on here. I know we were kind of planning for a little while, and I'm glad you're here, man. I like your
Yeah.
setup in the back there.
Um,
It's,
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it,
It's not only my setup. It's half mine. Well, 40% mine, 60% my wife.
Nice.
So yeah, I have to give credit to her. She's the one that is making music in this house. So,
Nice.
What style music does she primarily create?
good question. It's
Careful, because that borderlined on ambient
yeah, maybe
noise.
maybe she's gonna storm. She's gonna storm the room. What am I talking about? Yeah, her artist name is Lina Lab, so you can check it out. So it's a mix of things. She got into modular for obvious reasons, but yeah, she's been using guitar and doing like coding and yeah.
Wow. That's
Okay.
So yeah, music,
cool.
music.
You should
Dope,
talk to
dope.
my wife. Yeah.
Oh, cool. What's up, Logan? We got Logan in the chat.
Hey,
Shout out to
Logan.
Turtle Core.
Turtle Core. No doubt. So, hey, Manu, tell us a little bit about for those that don't know, Manu is from Befaco. Is it Befaco synth or is
It's
it?
Befaco.
Yes, he's
Befaco.
from Befaco, and they're a really dope modular company that make dope Eurorack stuff. And we wanted to have Manu on. And so I guess for those that may not know, because a lot of our people that watch us may be Eurorack curious, but maybe not totally into Eurorack. So we've lately been sprinkling them with, with Eurorack stuff. So tell the people a little bit more about yourself and Befaco, the sort of story of Befaco.
Okay, so I'm one of the Befaco guys to say, and right now we are a team of 9, and
Okay.
so I'm just one out of 9. And I've been with Befaco for 6 years, 6, 7 years, and Befaco is 10 years. It's
Mm,
turning 10 years in February.
okay.
So yeah, Befaco it's doing Eurorack modules, but and the thing of the Befaco thing has been like DIY workshops and building your own gear. The Befaco initiative started as a series of workshops.
Hmm.
In fact, I attended one of these workshops. I remember the conversation with Diego. Diego was one of the founders,
Okay.
and he was telling, "Hey, listen, we were on a workshop building a noiser, no, a little circuit, simple." And he said, "Hey, listen, we are going to be organizing these workshops, and we are going to be doing one workshop a month. It's going to be one module a month, and at the end of the year, you're going to have a modular synthesizer." And it was like, "Oh, tell me."
Nice.
So, so I of course I got in there, and so I started building the synths, the modular synth. The Befaco at the beginning it was bananas. It was 3U. It was a weird mix. It was 3Us with
Hmm.
bananas and then plus and minus 15,
Okay.
and everything was like hardcore DIY, like even doing your front panels,
Oh, wow.
drilling the panels, like
Mm.
DIY.
Mm,
But with time, after 2 years more or less, it was obvious that out there was a big world of modular synthesizers, and you don't want to be the kid playing along on the playground.
yeah.
Even if you are the coolest kid on the playground, you want to have friends.
Hmm.
So there was a decision to move from bananas into mini jacks, and then from plus and minus 15 to 12 volts. I have this speech because I'm still bananizing all my modules. If I get a new module, I rip it off, I drill bigger the holes, and I put bananas and wire them so I can play with bananas.
You
So
really?
I'm still in there. I'm running out of time on a busy life, so I'm not getting new modules lately for some strange reason. Anyway, the thing is that I think it was a very wise decision to move into mini jacks, and because that opened the Befaco world to other users that back then were starting to heavily use Eurorack models.
Hmm.
And because at the beginning it was very naive. It was like, okay, we're gonna do this. It's gonna be bananas, and it's gonna be awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
But then some more people are coming to you say, hey, listen, we have this system, we have these buffer models, we have this. Can we use mini jack? So yeah,
That
let's
makes
say
sense.
that
So it's about
that
the
made sense.
integration and kind of getting into uh, enabling people to kind of integrate your products into their regular Eurorack stuff without much of
Yeah,
a problem.
yeah. The thing is that at the beginning, the idea, as I said, it was to do a workshop. It was to do the Befaco system,
Hmm.
like bam. We were going to be building models and build our own modular synthesizers.
Hmm.
There was not even a thought of going further at all.
Hmm.
But yeah, at some point, yeah, we realized that there was a big world out there, and it was interesting to actually mix the models and go into a well-established format, and
Hmm.
especially 3Us, no, because the initial idea was to have like a compact small system, so
Hmm.
3Us was the way to go, and then Eurorack, okay, there was someone that thought about it before us,
Yeah.
so we
Right,
are not
right.
that clever.
No doubt, no doubt.
Yeah. So yeah, the thing is that, as I said, this was workshops. We started in Barcelona, so I was attending these workshops in Barcelona, and then some workshops started to happen in Madrid, which is like 500 kilometers from Barcelona.
Hmm.
And then a friend of us asked to go to Berlin and do some workshops there, and then London. So it was like a couple of workshops a month, like maybe doing Barcelona, London, then Madrid, Berlin, Barcelona, London again. So it was a workshop oriented thing.
Wow,
Cool. I
Uh,
that's
like
really
that.
dope. So
I like
you
that a
guys
lot.
were really, I kind of like the approach though. So your approach was really about DIY and then workshops and sort of the education of it. That is a
mhm.
lot, has a lot to do with building community and kind of working through, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
within the community. It's really dope.
yeah. It was and in also in a way it had like this rock and roll way of life where you're on the road,
Yeah, yeah,
which is so cool
yeah,
to be
yeah.
able to get out of the cave and actually share the things you have been doing for hours alone with people. It's like musicians going on tour. No, it has this thing. So excuse me. So it was very nice to share the time with the users, with the people that will actually build the model and then make music with them,
Right.
and it was a back and forth relationship, because you go to the workshop and you discover flaws on your design, you discover crazy ideas, because a designer way of doing things it's out of having a crazy idea and being unlucky to have someone that say yes, I
Yeah,
love
right.
it.
Right.
And then suddenly it's a thing, then
Right.
it's done, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, right.
So with musicians, with having the chance to talk to them and spend the whole weekend, because we're talking about like uh, 2 days from starting 10 a.m. and finishing when we finish. At
Yeah.
the beginning, the first workshops, I was not conducting the first workshop. It was Diego and Jano. They were sleeping on the very same place of the workshop, like
Yeah,
finishing the
yeah.
workshop, sleeping on a sofa, on a couch,
It's
and then
hardcore.
people arriving next morning, or maybe it was heavy,
That's dope.
heavy, heavy duty workshopping.
Yeah. You guys were
So
living the lifestyle of the
yeah,
workshop at
big
DIY.
time, big
Right.
time.
Have you thought about
So
coming over here and doing that, or just in
yes,
the States or anything?
yes,
We'd
yes,
love to
big
have you at
yes.
SoCal Synth Society to like
I
feature
will.
you.
I really would love to be there. Honestly, the thing is that we made our first trip to America last year. We made Montreal and Toronto,
Okay.
and then did like a very quick trip to Milwaukee to visit John and Logan. Hey Logan.
Mm.
And then the next one was Nopcom. So we are like very very fresh, and we were discussing before going live that it's also going to be our first NAM.
So
Yeah,
you
So
are
first
coming.
time. I
That's
wish I had some
awesome.
sound effects to sound the alarm
I
to
know.
celebrate first NAM.
I can't wait to see you again,
Yeah,
man.
I'm really really looking forward. Really 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 looking forward. So yeah, the idea is to be back more often, and visiting. It's busy in this side of the ocean, and running Befaco is it's busy, but we are now with this 9 people team. We have time to actually travel and actually again. Yeah, visit places and meet more people, because
Yeah,
that has been like this part, because well at some point the Befaco designs got so fine-tuned that we were able to actually sell them, to retail them, to go through Thong. Thong was the first retailer that approached us, and on but on a serious way. We have some approaches with other retailers, not gonna mention names.
Thunk is great though. Like
It's
I love that site.
I me
I
too,
mean,
me too.
even if
Steve,
you're based overseas, like in the U.S. and like, because Thonk is based in, I believe, the U.K., right?
yeah.
It's still, even with shipping and all that, like it's still one of my favorite
Yeah,
sites.
yeah, it
I
is.
mean, I
Well,
love it.
I have to say that there is a big difference between the DIY community and the regular Eurorack customers. The thing
okay.
is that there is slight differences between someone that actually buys an assembled model and someone that actually gets the PCBs or the kit. The relationship is different. The
Hmm.
expectations are different. Someone that is buying a kit, there is a non-spoken agreement that you kind of know what you are doing and you are gonna work yourself through the build and actually make the instrument yours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't,
Right.
it's so let's say that the relationship is different. I'm not saying that we are having a bad experience with our users that
yeah.
buy assembled. The other way around, Eurorack community is amazing. I'm
Mhm.
just saying that it's different. It's
Yeah,
different,
it's
and
inherently different. Yeah, and then I
yeah,
mean, I think too that most times too the DIYer has a certain skill set and a certain perspective that's just different than, I mean, we literally have that in our own crew. We have some of us that are like, yeah, let's build it, and some of us are like, I don't want any parts of that. I just give it
Right.
to me already done, and you guys,
I want it to work.
I'll come after you're done building.
yeah. I bet that you're busy enough making music
Yeah.
to spend your free time building the thing. Because look at me, I'm not using that thing anymore
That's right.
because
I
again
I do
the other
feel it
conversation.
too. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean the energy and the time it's finite,
Well, I gotta
and
say,
you.
like, I'm a big fan of DIY kits. Like, I've been building them for many years now, and there's something different about it. It's almost like it's like a calming puzzle. You know, like for some people they might want to lay out puzzles and do puzzles or whatever. Like for me, building modules a lot of the times, like the kits, it's very much that same kind of. Sometimes you need a break from just the making of music or sound in general. And sometimes I like to just sit kind of quietly and build a module and just enjoy that aspect of it, that aspect of my brain. So for some people, it's a good thing. But, if you're the guy creating all, all the DIY kits, you might be a little tired of that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, it's
Yeah,
to
a
me,
little
it's
bit.
like like oftentimes in a lot of different forums, I see people talking about how they get writer's block or creative block, this, that, and the third, and I'm like, well, sometimes you need to do something creative with your mind that is completely different, like that is using a different part of the creative mind and kind of making your brain exercise different muscles, and then it kind of pulls you out of that. And for me, DIY stuff, building instruments inside of Reactor or inside of ER301, creating things. Just sometimes I'll just like get random parts from an electronic supplier and I'll just throw them into a box and be like, "This is what I'm going to build today. I wonder if it'll work." That kind of stuff. But it completely can recharge your mind.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. So yeah,
See.
so I was talking about the history of Befaco, no?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
We got carried away. No, it's but the thing is
yeah.
that
that happens here.
So you
oh,
so you were living the rock star life on the road doing do at DIY workshops.
yeah, the rock stars, yeah, rock star.
That's
No,
right.
no, because the thing is that in the end, getting into the road has the big benefits, but it keeps you away from the lab or keep you away from the studio. And then you have to tour and you have to be around, and in this case, but you also need to spend time actually building things or designing new models or replying to emails or shipping boxes.
Mm,
So, so yeah, at some point, this is when Diego and Jano were heavy duty going to these workshops. Is when there was a big need of more people to join the
mhm,
team. This is when me and Pascual, we are from the south of Spain and we were living in Barcelona, also doing electronics, blah blah blah. Then we joined the team. We were learning from Diego and Jano and doing our own workshops, also going on tours with living life.
mhm,
And
mhm,
then there was a need to expand the team and get further because yeah, Thong was the first one that came, but then not long other shops came on and for example Modular Addict, because Logan is over there. There's a very funny story. We received this email from John Carbassi, the owner of Modular Addict, like that we like having this crazy email all in capital letters. I need everything, 25 everything. And we were like, there is this crazy gringo that wrote this email. It's very strange. Is he serious? Is he what? And yeah, he was definitely serious. He was really, and I think it's the best shop in the US. I've seen Qubits over there as well, but
mhm.
Modular Addit it's doing a great job, and even better lately, to be honest. No?
Yeah,
So
they
yeah,
are. They're kind of like the Thunk America,
Yes.
yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, with a
Kind of
different
like that kind
vibe,
of vibe.
Yeah.
I would say different vibe, less British.
Yeah, yeah, right. Let's bring
More turtle core.
Yeah, turtle core. So yeah, let's say that thanks to the retailing, so let's say that the retailing happened because Befaco design started to get more mature, and,
Mhm.
and we felt confident to actually send kits, because it's not the same. You are on a workshop, and if someone has a problem, you can be there and just fix the problem.
Mhm.
But if you are selling a bag full of components with a documentation, and you need to provide some sort of support, some sort of quality, and then the module needs to be actually good enough. So yeah, thanks to them getting good, then we got retailers. But because of getting retailers, we
Mhm.
started to become more a company
Yeah.
rather than
Yeah.
an initiative of workshops, DIY things,
Mhm.
and which is fine. I'm totally fine with that. But there was, let's say that it was challenging. Instead of being like 3, 4 dudes on a cave doing electronics and going around doing workshops, suddenly we needed to have bookkeeping, file taxes, no,
Yeah. Yeah.
these kind of things from real life that you didn't consider that you have to do. And so yeah, it was challenging, but luckily things have been working out. Then we started with DIY mainly, and started to send some pre-assembled models. We are assembling all of our models in Barcelona back then by
Okay.
hand, us. So we had an order, and then okay, we have an order. The four
Mhm.
of us there
Oh
soldering the
wow.
models.
Yeah.
Yeah, epic.
No,
Now we can laugh about it, but
yeah.
so
So I
I
bet you
mean,
get good and quick with that stuff after you've done it so many times, taught so many workshops. And
yeah.
what's the from your opinion? What's your most I won't say difficult because I feel like none of these would be difficult for you. But if somebody was first time DIY, what module would you recommend out of your product lineup?
What a question. Normally, a little before answering the question, we have every Friday we have an open day where people can come to our shop
Oh,
and
nice.
actually build stuff or ask or build their own stuff. If they bring with mm, PCBs from other manufacturers and they want to build there, we help. So
Okay.
let's say that I have this conversation quite often,
Hmm.
and the question it's complicated because
Yeah.
you need to ask, okay, how deep you want to get into DIY?
Right.
Are you gonna be, because we have power solutions,
Hmm.
and we all know that the power and cases are not cheap.
Hmm.
So okay, are you gonna DIY your case? So we have these toolboxes from shops here in Barcelona. We know that you can fit 2 or 3 rows. They are like 20, 30 euros each. So
Hmm.
it's okay. So do you want to get your hands dirty? So why don't you start with a power supply and build your own case
Uh,
and save some bucks out of
hmm.
that?
Hmm.
Not everybody is good with their hands. So okay, go to the shop, get a case, let's start. Do you know what kind of music you're? So let's say that the question is always.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I
for
see.
example, this one output module or the ST mix, these two modules that have been on screen, it's are quite popular final choices.
Hmm.
Because they are easy,
Yeah.
easy. Everything is easy here. It's everything is through hole. It's the same. It's just that they are small,
Okay.
and there you have less chances to fuck it up,
Yeah, yeah,
That's
to screw it.
that's
yeah,
one of
yeah.
the
We
first things that
got.
I'll tell you is that just just for the DIY you know noob, you know the through hole kits like this, honestly, like when it's done well the way that these Befaco kits are done, it's almost like color by numbers. It's very, very easy. It's something that you
Yeah,
should not be afraid of. If
yeah,
you're worried about using a soldering iron and some solder, because really all you need is like soldering iron, a little bit of solder, maybe a third hand, which is like a clamp to hold your PCB, um, you know, possibly some snips, and then possibly like some like a wrench to
yeah,
just to be able to screw things down, that sort of
yeah.
thing. Like you
Uh,
don't need a lot, and you can do it with really like honestly a cheap soldering iron will work. However, to be perfectly frank, if you spend it, like if you're like, hey, this is a hobby that I would like to get into, and I don't want to build just one module, like I kind of want to build my first module that I'm a little bit scared of, but I'm going to build it. But I know that once I get over that hump, I'm going to build probably 10 more modules. You're better off just go ahead, instead of spending 25 bucks on the soldering iron, spend like 80 bucks and get like a Hacko iron or something, like something a little bit nicer, so that it just makes things easier. To be honest with you, it makes the solder take a little bit better. It in my opinion, using a nicer iron is easier for a noob than using a really crappy iron. Like somebody who's really good can use a really crappy iron a lot easier, than somebody who's really bad using a crappy iron. But even those aren't that expensive. You can go into Amazon and get a really nice iron for like 89 bucks, you know, honestly. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, like these through hole kits are very easy to do. And Logan is saying in the chat, get a Hako 888. I totally agree. That's what I use, and I love it to death. I have the Hako 888 FXD, which is like it's just a digital one, and it's very easy to set what temperature you want to work at. It's
But
very easy to
Logan is
change the
saying so
tips.
much more though. Like he's giving you
Well, he's
like,
also all he's really saying is like solder wick is good because you can basically fix mistakes with it, right?
hmm.
And I have actually a link on my website. If you go to fluxwithit.com, you can go on there and there's like a intro to like soldering and DIY and that kind of thing. You can go there and it gives you all this information. I wrote out a long ass article on all this crap. But point being, like these types of modules are all like, anything that's through hole, you should not be scared of. You can, and if you're scared of it, if you're really scared of it and only want to spend like 10 bucks, you can go on Amazon and get practice boards to like practice soldering a couple things before you start. But it's really not hard. Like it's really not.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily too hard, but I think there's people that are naturally intimidated by it if they haven't really done that kind of
Sure.
stuff yet. So, but no better way than to dig in.
yeah.
It's like anything else. You get better at it the more you do it.
Yeah. Or stop thinking about it and just make music.
Yeah, there you go. Just go make music. There you go.
How
There's
dare you?
a lot of people that really try, and it's like, hey, listen, why don't you go home and make music?
Yeah.
Stop worrying about this. It's me.
Well,
Make
hold on,
music.
hold on. Let's be careful here because it's not always about making music. Sometimes people just want to build, and that's fine too.
Oh,
Like
We have a lot of
some
those
people
records.
legitimately just enjoy building or collecting instruments, and like
Yeah.
I've seen like a kind of mentality where some people are like, oh well, you're not making enough music, and I'm like, well, you know what? Not everybody has to be that person. You know what I mean? And that's fine. Like me personally, I like doing both. You know. And I like making noises, and I like making just noise.
So
I
you
like it
know
all.
something that you mentioned a minute ago too, Ken, about I think you were saying something about the inspire and like if you make music, but sometimes you got to find other things to do that inspire you. Like for me, sometimes it's all right not to make music as long as I like for the last week I just spent a lot of time exploring sounds and
Yeah,
digging into my synths and just kind of exploring feature sets and sounds. But then when I got a spark of creative, like a little creative spark, because I had spent a week kind of exploring sounds and features, I all of a sudden was able to pour all of that into what I was
that's
doing
a hundred
creatively.
percent. That's
Right.
been my workflow for as long as I can remember. Is
Hmm.
I examine sound and I examine my gear like to the nth degree, and that's kind of what I'm known for. But that
Yeah, I'm gonna start
enables
calling you the
me.
breaker.
Yeah, that enables me to be, super efficient when I do want to just make music. I'm super efficient because I can get exactly the tones that I want when I want them and where I want them from.
Hmm.
I don't have to guess. I don't have to do any of that because I spend so much nerd time just having fun enjoying the gear itself. You know.
Sometimes you have to be careful though, because I get sucked into that.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Making modules, or then I get sucked into rearranging my setup,
yeah.
and like
Yeah.
If you have a deadline for a gig,
that's
don't
helps.
don't buy a new module right before you
Nope.
have a
No.
deadline for a gig.
Well,
That's a
I feel like
horrible
when I
idea.
have a deadline, I need a deadline, honestly, because then that's
Yeah.
when I'm like, oh shit, I better start writing some new music for this thing. Otherwise, I'm like, I want to do everything. I want to build. I want to rearrange my case. I want to do it all. So
I think that rearranging the case is a nice topic.
Yeah.
I have that problem too.
Are you a modular grid
always.
kind of guy where you want to do it on there and then move it, or are you
No.
a hands-on? I want to move stuff around, feel it, decide. Okay,
Yeah.
do I like this?
Yeah. Yeah. What my approach that I managed to do it like a few months ago, it's to have like a starship with everything, and then have like a few cases, travel cases, different sizes, small, mid, like a 1 row, 2 rows. I have like a 12U, a 6U, 1U, 98, 104, and then depending on what I'm gonna do, then I take the modules from the big spaceship and put it on the small one. Even
Yes.
if I need to travel to if I'm performing or something like that. So I find myself with the big thing half destroyed and always with a small scene here. So there is a lot of back and forth and then changing and then trying some new combinations. Say, and then for the
Yeah.
next one, picking up the different models and then making a new live setup. I have to say that I always use more or less the same. But you always check this little difference. Okay, I'm gonna try this one.
Right.
Or I really like also the if I'm gonna travel to the US or far away, I cannot travel with my 12U.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Then I need to scale down, or
Hmm.
maybe I need to get like a very small one with I have to perform with that, and then have a couple of testing modules because I need to be working during the trip. Okay,
Yep.
Hmm.
Right. Right.
and so let's say that I got the rearranging the case into a gamified level, I would say.
No, yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with that, and like I do a lot of like testing of different modules and also videos on modules and that kind of thing. So like I'm constantly rearranging for that purpose as well, and it's just like I've come to the, and I think we spoke about this last show. I've come to the point now where it's like 4 cases is kind of what makes me happy. So I have a sound I have a sound design case. I have my like execution case, like my performance, and like it's got my sequencers and like the main modules that I need to use in it. That's smaller. It's like 2 rows, and then I have a drum case, and then I have a testing case. So that's kind of how I work it out. Yes, it's gluttonous. Leave me alone.
I
I'm
mean,
the
I
same.
can't.
I'm
I mean,
constantly
I
moving
think you can
myself
easily
around.
get there. Like that's one of those things you can get there before you realize it. Like
Mhm.
I didn't really until I started performing out live. I didn't realize like I literally all of a sudden my bigger case became demolished, and my live case
Mhm.
had all this stuff that I felt was important to me, that would be good for my set, and then I made space in that case, and it just became a crazy world of stuff. You know what I mean? And then I looked at my live case like I want smaller, so then I got a smaller case.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so yeah, it's one of those things though.
I want to backtrack because, man, when we were talking at NobCon, and now listening to how we have similar approaches, meaning like constantly moving modules around, and you said that you like sliding screws.
Yes, I do.
I was like, okay, I just want to make sure
Leave.
I heard you right.
I want you to leave right now.
Okay.
I know. I
That's me.
paused.
Sign
I
out.
like sliding screws, and I was like, they're the bane of my existence.
Just get out.
Okay.
This is
Let
why
me
Spain can't have nice things.
I
You
know.
want
Okay,
ants?
let me.
That's how you get ants.
Okay, so why? The first
Yeah, yeah.
answer of that is because I have a strong DIY background,
Right.
and when the holes are not properly aligned, something that it's actually happening on commercial models, but it's happening big time on DIY. If you have the
Dremel.
threaded the yeah, exactly. Dremel. Okay, so it's either dremeling your holes bigger or having these lovely thingies that will actually move a little bit and then you can fit. And what's the solution that we discover? Because I really don't like when I have like this little space between two modules because of
Yeah.
I hate it. So how did I overcame the big pain of the sliding nuts? Using more sliding nuts. And that's it.
Hmm.
So instead of having like 20, 30 nuts on your rail, use 40. They are cheap.
Yeah. I just
Yeah.
I have
Right.
2 bags of
That's
fighting
true.
so
nuts
it's
in my case.
so it's just use
Yeah.
use one per a couple of HPs.
I just
And
wish
Yeah.
everybody would use slotted holes, and we would all be happy. Like
yeah.
I much prefer that. I will say, let me show you guys something because I just brought this over from my old studio. Give me 1 second. I want to show you something. It's really weird, and if J9K is watching, it's a prototype that J9K had done like a while ago for me, and it was just an idea. So I want to show you something really weird that's gonna throw this whole conversation on its head. Look at this.
Okay. Chan chan.
The suspense. Then he
Yeah.
runs
Yeah.
away.
So yeah, let's say
I
that
know,
the
right?
like the sliding nuts has also this DIY thing. So if you have problems with your sliding nuts shortness, just unscrew the rails and put more sliding nuts in, and believe me, your life will be better.
How about this?
Yeah.
How about this? So you unscrew one here, right? Unscrew one here, right? Okay, and then let's see if I can do this. It's been literally like 8 months since I've done this, so it's probably a little stiff. Yeah, it's a bit stiff. It's coming though. There it goes. And then it opens up like this. You stick your module in there, right? And then you go like that, and then you just clip it, and the module sits in there. Matter of fact, I'll show you. I have a module right here, and a module right here, right? So,
Is that your design, Ken?
no, this is J9K.
Okay.
So this is the guy who did my first case.
Yeah.
And this was kind of just a prototype idea because we were talking about different ways of doing cases that were like that could get around the whole nut issue, because it's
Okay.
really annoying to constantly have to unscrew 100 modules and blah blah blah, right? So with this, right, I could take the module, I slip it in here, right, and then it just goes like so, right. Let me put it into place here. I'm kind of like trying to do this with one hand,
Yeah,
but yeah.
you're holding it and all kinds.
So yeah, all you do is just tighten it down and the module's in. Like it's yeah. So
Nope. And then you
they
use the two screws on the end to lock it down.
yeah, yeah. Now that
I
being
kind of
said,
dig that.
that being said, there's drawbacks to that. There's drawbacks to that design.
With clumsy people like me, big time. I see all
So
my models.
that was
All the modules go
Oh, you're
flying.
Because I'm clumsy, and I like to have a case like having my case like this, check the case,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, it's wrong to do like that. You should be working on a table,
Mhm.
but so yeah, for clumsy people like me, well, you cannot see the mess I made right now. So yeah.
Yeah.
so Logan pointed out exactly one of the main issues with that, which is really minor, but it is literally an issue to consider. Is when you do it like this, it often will cover up the brand name of your module because the rail covers over the whole piece right there. So that's something to be aware of. So that's one minor drawback to it. Another minor drawback would be if you ever wanted to do a curved case like what I have behind me. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but that case
Yep.
is curved. If you ever had like an incline, it would be a very bad thing.
Yeah, I guess
So
it also for like this kind of cases, I think it will work with something small.
yeah,
Performance wise, maybe it will work because you can handle it. But with a big monster, like having like this big bars, and then getting all your model.
Hmm.
it
So
works
maybe
fine. It works fine when you lay it flat. Like when
yeah,
it's laid flat, or at a not too steep angle, it's great. Like it's actually
yeah.
really cool. There's some minor things about it that I could get into, but it was actually like, and Logan saying, "Oh, it's sarcasm," but no, it's legitimately an issue because a lot of people's modular rigs, and I guarantee you, Manu's going to speak about this because your modules look very good. Like honestly, aesthetically, your modules are very pleasing. But there's a lot of people out there who don't want to buy modules or don't want to buy cases or whatever that aren't aesthetically pleasing. Like, if it doesn't look the way that inspires people, then they don't want it. There's a lot of people who won't buy one module because it has a different color panel or it has different style knobs or buttons on it, and but if you had the exact same module and it had just a different faceplate, they'd be all over it. So
Hmm.
that in my opinion, that's a big factor.
Yeah. You were talking about collectors, right?
Man, I'll tell you what. I'm surprisingly not. I'm talking about Corey. I'm talking about no. You know who
Ooh,
Corey?
finger pointing.
Yeah. No,
I thought you
I'm
had
talking
black
about all the people who are less sloppy than me because I am a sloppy bastard. I just built the studio and I still have like wires and crap all over
This
the
guy built a
floor.
brand new,
Like,
beautiful studio and brought a pile into it. Like, oh, this place needs a pile.
my point is like all my friends are better. Put it this way: when I built this studio, I didn't like. So I kind of put the question out there. My previous studio was neon green. Neon green is my favorite color. I absolutely love it. It inspires me. It's like it just does it for me, right? And I put the question out there. I was like, "Yo, I want to have neon green again," and everybody was like, "No, no, 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 no." But like a couple of my absolute best friends, Corey and Joe from Sounds and Gear, two of my absolute best friends, are both far better looking and far better dressed than I can ever be. They actually care about what their shoes look like, that sort of thing, right? I mean, granted, Corey sometimes wears fishnet stocking shoes, but we'll get into that later. Point being is they both go for like this black and gray subtle
Why I
look,
oughta.
right? Yeah, they both go for this black and gray subtle look, and I have to admit, like all their videos, everything looks very aesthetically pleasing to me. I'm like when I watch their stuff, I'm like, damn, that's really clean. Everything looks really nice. I dig that, right? But whenever I do stuff, I'm like, you know what? Green, everything, all the time. Please make it happen, right? So when I went to do this studio, I said, you know what? I'm gonna be smart. I'm not going to build this studio for me. I'm going to build this studio for St. Joe. I'm going to build this studio for Corey. So I'd put gray and black floors in. All my desks are gray and black. The walls are gray. Like, and you know what? I got LED lighting that can turn this bitch green as fuck. But yeah. So my point being is like there's a lot of people out there. It's not just collectors. It's a lot of people out there. Aesthetics are extremely key to the way they create. For me, I like things a little bit DIY, a little bit punk rock, a little bit rugged.
A little bit green.
And a lot green. Right? Not a little bit, a lot green.
So I mean, I think about that stuff when
look at my case, man. That case is banging.
The case is dope because it has
look at my
rails
neon green rails.
with the black light.
Green rails in their case.
Yeah.
Woo! Let's go.
But yo, hold on. I wanna go back. I think I wanna backtrack a little bit. Manu, you mentioned that this is gonna be your first time at NAMM.
Yes.
And are you gonna have a booth of your own? Are you sharing a booth? What's the deal there?
It's been like a last minute thing. I booked my plane 2 days ago.
Oh wow.
Literally. By the way, it was very cheap. Norwegian is having like these crazy deals, like 300 euros for a plane. Like,
nice.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty dope.
Yeah. Well, they have this trick that you have to pay them from the luggage apart, and then where is the, and then you need to pay for the food. And
there you go. Charge every little thing, all the fees pile up.
So yeah, the thing is that the conversation about going to NAMM started because of BeatWeek. So we are doing a collaboration with BeatWeek. They developed a script to auto detect our new VCMC model, the MIDI controller.
Okay.
So I don't think that it's on the latest version, but if it's not, it will be. So you just connect the module and then BeatWeek, bam, with Befaco VCMC, you can select it from the list. And then we in the module, when you get the module, you get an 8-track license from BeatWeek. So they offer. Well, I asked, hey, if I go, could you get a ticket for me? I say, yeah, but also you can send us a case, so we can use a Befaco case on one of our setups. And then they put us in contact with the NAMM people. So apparently we can become members for a reasonable amount of money and be like a sub-expositor of BeatWeek.
Oh, nice.
So it will be like a sub-booth, but we are just back from holidays and trying to get things right. So I think this year I will be visiting. There's going to be like a small Befaco system there for BeatWeek testing. But it's my first time. It's going to be like meeting people in person, which I think it's very important.
Yeah, that's gonna be super cool. And I don't know, man. I think that's big news. I think it's huge news to know that the Befaco VCMC is gonna have has been scripted to work with Bitwig, and that there's a partnership there. And that's huge. That's huge because they've had. So Ableton has CV tools, but Bitwig had those kinds of tools for like a year before Ableton had those kinds of things. So it's kind of cool to kind of see that this is them forging ahead. It's actually kind of dope to see the partnership.
Hey, before we get too deep into the partnership stuff, I just got to ask, still on the DIY thing. So from my understanding, the VCMC would be one of your most advanced modules for DIY, right? Do you have to do any of the SMD stuff on it, or no?
No.
You don't.
No. You don't. It's complex because it has many steps and some mechanical steps that might get you in trouble.
Okay.
But if you compare it, for example, with the Xmix, the Xmix DIY build, the through hole version, is apocalyptic. That's
Oh yeah.
tough.
Is
That's
it
yeah.
well? Hold on. Is that just because it's tedious because it's a lot of components? Because
It's a matter. It's a lot of components, and it's 24 potentiometers,
yeah.
which increases the chances of making a mistake. In the end, it's a repetitive task.
So that
But
to me, like the first time I ever did SMT was when I did a mutable instruments elements module, right? And I built that. That was my first time ever doing and I did it all by hand soldering. I didn't have a hot air station or anything like that at that point. And I learned very quickly that grains of sand and resistors can be the same. Uh,
yeah,
Literally, like I mean, the stuff that they use for those are very. They're not designed for hand soldering, really. And so when I saw the VCMC, like my initial reaction whenever I see any module that comes out that has a DIY kit, my initial response is, okay, well I probably want the DIY kit because I enjoy building and I can save some money. But the save some money thing is very subjective thing. It can be
yeah,
like, okay, you can technically save some money, but how much is your time worth, right?
Mhm.
How much is your
exactly.
time worth, and are you competent to where if you build this, are you sure that you're going to make it work, right?
Yeah,
So there is that, and
you're
that's
changing
nothing
a,
against the manufacturer. That's up to you, you know. Um, so when I was looking at the VCMC module, because I'm very interested in it, my first response was, okay, let me check this out. And I saw some like warnings in there on your page, I believe it was, that was saying like, hey, this is an advanced build and that there was a lot going on. So that's why I bring up the question.
yeah. The thing is that for us, when we grade modules, it's not because of the difficulty itself. They are all same, but some of them will have some steps that can drive you into a whole weekend of desoldering and troubleshooting. So
Mhm.
let's say that it's more the how bad the mistakes can get rather than how difficult it is. So in this case, for example, you have some steps where you can destroy the Tinsy, the microcontroller,
Mhm.
and those microcontrollers are 25 euros.
Mm.
You have screen, you have buttons, you can place all the buttons reversed easy, and then that's like 6 legs per button to desolder, and you will be destroyed. So let's say that our grading it's not because of difficulty, it's the consequences of a mistake, let's say.
Mhm.
Mm.
Mhm. I see.
So yeah,
Okay, I just so we can bring up more about the partnership. I just had to cover that because that was like
yeah.
because I'm literally like I'm at the point now where I'm like, dude, I really want one of those things, and I'm like, I want to build that,
Yeah,
and
I wanted it right away, so I bought it.
yeah,
of course,
I
because you
wanted
want to make music.
to use it.
Yeah, make
Exactly.
music,
Exactly,
baby.
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, the partnership
Yeah.
with Bitwig, it was kind of natural.
Mhm.
I think this Superboot, I think it's the first time I've been actively looking for collaborations,
Mhm.
like actually chasing people around just to try to get a collaboration. In this case, it was very easy because we already met Frederick Astebal from Bitwig, because
Mm.
he came to one of our workshops,
Yeah.
and they're in Berlin. We do workshops in Berlin still. So he came, and he's such a nice guy. He's making a music that I was enjoying back in the 2003.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, his name is Krumelur. He's doing some kind of psytrance.
Okay.
Mm.
So
Nice.
well, the thing is that there was a nice flow, and we are Linux users. So
Mm.
all
Okay.
Befaco computers, everything is running in Linux, and if we want to use some software, the software needs to have Linux support, and Bitwig does,
Mhm.
while
Mm.
Ableton doesn't, or other. So it's very handy to have and not handy. It's amazing that someone is actually supporting Linux users.
Yeah.
Mm.
So that was our first thing to say. Okay, guys, thank you for doing that, because yeah, you're making us a favor.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then
And it's a powerful DAW to have in Linux too. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
dope.
This version 3, this Bitwig version 3 with the modular thing
Hmm.
is
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's
Again,
next
I don't
level.
have the time to
All
use
those.
it, but
What is it? What are they calling their modular stuff in there? What's it called? Like, I mean, Ableton has CV tools, but I can't think of what Bitwig calls theirs right now.
how
Um,
was it?
It's a modular. Like it's I forget.
I don't know
Yeah,
what they've branded it, but yeah, it's the
Grid.
grid. There it is. Yeah.
grid.
So yeah,
Yeah,
that's dope.
yeah.
And so you have other collaborations, right, with DivKid?
Yes,
What
yes.
tell us about
Again,
that a little bit.
yeah. With Ditki, it was kind of the same as I said with Bitwig. It was like a natural thing. It's just talking. It's like talking with a friend and say, hey, we should do a collab. Yeah, sure, why
Yeah.
not? And suddenly you're doing something together.
Nice.
With Bitwig was something similar. He's been thinking about commissioning his own modules for a while,
Hmm.
and so when he had this idea to do the mutes module, so he came to me and told me, hey, Manu, I want to make the mutes, but I want the Xmix mutes because he really liked the flipping side, like the momentary and the latch, and then the release they have. Um, uh, it's very musical, and he really loved it. And he said, "Hey, listen, so this is a Befaco thing, so it makes sense that I ask you." And I said, "Sure, let's do it." Yeah, because basically it was like a copy paste commissioning,
Hmm.
and and it was easy. That there was one of the guys there in Befaco that wanted to do some designing things.
Hmm.
In the end, it turned out that I did it myself, but
Hmm.
but everything with him it's been so easy going, so easy. So yeah, no, okay. If yes, it's okay. If not, it's okay. We yeah, like I sent him like um a rough design of the front panel, and he liked it straight away. Like
Yeah,
the first
yeah.
version, it's like okay,
Nice. Yeah, well,
It's
I
yeah,
so
like the
fast
look of
too.
you guys' modules. I'm
yeah.
gonna throw this back up here right quick because I mean, I just think it's a perfect mix of, you know, just clean design. You have the splash of red in there,
My favorite
and
Yeah,
colors there too
yeah,
makes
you
it.
know what I mean? And
Yeah.
yeah,
it just looks good. It's
yeah,
you know, good balance of the grays and whites and the panels, the sliders.
yeah.
Everything is
The,
just it's clean and neat. I dig
yeah,
it.
that's sense. The main designer is Diego. It's
Hmm.
he's really we the things that in Befaco we are like the three main designer. It's Diego, Pascual, and me, like the three main guys. We
Hmm.
kind of do everything, all of us. We design, we reply emails, we do shopping, everything.
Yeah.
But each of us have like a stronger point, and maybe find more a people's person. Maybe Pascual is the design monster,
Hmm.
and like the electronics design monster, and Diego it's very good on the aesthetics. So he's like the reference in the fact he's the one like leading the image path on
Yeah.
Befaco. So for example, if you have seen now the modules, now we are having a drift to the grays,
Hmm.
while originally Befaco was basically black, red, and white.
Hmm.
We are running away from the white and keeping the red as little splashes here and there
Yeah.
to add some little color, and going more into the gray. Also, there is
Mm.
a strong uh, idea. Diego has this strong idea of running away from symmetry. For
Hmm.
example, this little thingies, although symmetry is there.
Yeah.
So, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Um. Yeah. So, and wait, is the crush delay out yet?
yes, it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's been out for a while.
Has it been
Yeah,
out? I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
that
Oh
was
yeah.
something that was a. What you announced at Super Boot? Was it?
Yeah. Now we announced it a while. The thing is that crash delay is a good example of what's happening with all Befaco modules in general. It's like we release a module and then we improve it because
I got that.
designs are always alive. The designer will always see little things to improve, and it's very difficult to stop. It's that someone needs to slap you, stop it.
Right.
Well, let
So
me.
this one got his latest version this past year, which
Okay.
is
All
version
right.
3.
That's what I thought. I thought it was a recent, at least change. Okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. We had like a announcement that the new version was out there, which
Hmm.
is this one, which basically the crash delay has a misleading name. We used to have a misleading name because it's not so much. It was not so much of a delay. It was kind of an echo, but
Hmm.
a lot of crash. So it was more like a noise generation garbage, digital garbage noise
Hmm.
generator rather than delay, because it's a digital chip, a digital delay, the PT2399,
That's a
Hmm.
that
great
goes.
chip, though. It's so much
Yeah,
fun.
it is,
It's
it
so
is, it
much
is.
fun.
So this one is pushed to the limit just to speed noise.
Hmm.
So this latest version added the delay features, like not added. It was a delay already,
Yeah, yeah.
but it was greatly improved. The feedback circuit was improved. The two VCAs, the response on the curves, on the time was improved. So now you can get crunchy but quite long delays already. So you can get close to 1 second with low quality,
Dope.
but yeah. And then the thing is that you get longer delay times with noise, and then at some point you just get noise,
Yeah.
which is
Nice.
very
Yeah.
nice because as it's
So is
been
it gets noisy with more repeats, basically? Is that kind of
no,
the
no, no, with more delay time.
more delay
So
time?
so the way
Okay.
the
So the
the way the
longer the
chip
delay is, so
works,
it kind of degrades and gets noisy the longer the delay.
Corey, so the way the chip
Yeah.
works is the chip is literally like a digital emulation of a bucket brigade delay. But
I
so
got
like the longer it gets, it degrades.
You.
But you can do some really cool things with it because it's just a chip that's doing this stuff. So if you have a smart designer behind it, you can exploit how it functions and you
Hmm.
can do some really interesting things with it. You can if you take it far past where it's supposed to go, it'll break up completely and just turn into like garbled mangled mash and it's
Dope.
it's it's a really fun like it to me it's what I really enjoy about digital stuff because it's like digital can be really interesting too. Like analog's really interesting, but digital can be super fun too
Hmm.
if you're exploring like the intricacies of breakup and just strange quirkiness and aliasing and all that kind of stuff. It lets you get all that, so it's super fun.
Okay. I'm gonna have to check it out because I'm a delayed stupid guy.
Check out Shank, one of Shank's sets, data line, because he has that. And he uses
Yeah,
that crush delay. It sounds
Does it?
great. Yeah.
yeah. By
Yeah.
the way, last time I saw him, he told me that his crash delay was broken.
Oh, really?
So
He's been
You're not supposed to tell that to the stream, dude. Like
I'm sorry.
you are not a
it's,
great capitalist.
it's because of him. He broke it
Um,
himself, crushing it all over the
Yep.
place.
no,
You
let's say
can talk to him in person in a couple of weeks.
let's say that we have a pending conversation. Let's say.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
wait, Manu, how long are you going to be in California?
Short time. It's gonna be Wednesday till Sunday only.
Oh,
Okay.
cool. Hey, listen, we'll
So you
be
have to
there.
get into the studio then during that time with the guys. That
Yeah, that my idea is that this one is gonna be like a short visit, and I will do my best to do as much as possible. But the idea will be to be back and spend like a couple of weeks minimum. So that's a nice trip. So you can spend time with people, with locals, and actually relax a little bit, and maybe travel to different cities. It's normally what we do.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like
no
like
doubt.
spending one weekend in one city, then during the week doing things, and then
right.
next weekend in another city. So it also helps to make the trip worthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
right.
let's try to this time to check your studio,
Oh,
and
yes.
if not,
There
Yeah.
you go.
next
Come on
time for
over. We'll
sure.
do the studio thing, and then we can talk about when you make that trip to stay to do a DIY workshop with SoCal Sin Society.
Yeah, well, let's
Yeah,
talk about
that's
this
more fun for the
show.
team.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about the show a little bit
Oh yeah,
again.
so you'll be in town, and we'll be
Mhm.
doing this. SoCal Sense Society will be doing the show. It's like a kind of epic lineup, and I think it's going to be really really fun. So who's on the lineup? Let me see if I can pull the flyer
I'm
up.
crashing every set
You
Would
can
it
jump
because
on
be?
my set, Ken, if you want.
yo, I'm
Come,
coming
come
in.
play with me. Bring that Zox box thing too.
I
And
might, yeah, I might bring
on
like
my
just,
set.
I might bring like a couple of hidden pieces of gear. You know what? I might just, dude, I might seriously just rock a whole set with a pocket operator, like, and just blow everybody up.
I
Like,
have 6 channels because I have a 6 channel open on my Befaco mixer, so I can just plug you right in.
yo, I'm down. Like I'll
Yep.
jump in. I would actually love to jump in on your set. We're gonna talk about that when I get out there too.
Okay. But Corey, you have the. Did you find it?
Yeah, I'm bringing the flyer up right now.
So it's at Joe's, and that's in Fullerton.
Can you
which
tell us a
is-
little bit about Joe's? Because I don't know anything about it. So like I'm interested too.
So Joe's is a pretty cool place. It's just like they do all sorts of things there. It's just like a local spot in Fullerton, like downtown Fullerton, Fullerton's a little college town. Anaheim was where the convention center is, and they basically share the city line. So it's like from the convention center to Joe's is probably like a 10-minute drive.
Oh, that's awesome.
Straight down Harbor. So Joe's is right off Harbor. We'll be in the back room, and the back room also has a patio, so it goes out so people can hang out outside. The weather should be pretty good, and yeah, like it's gonna.
That's
the
gonna be
lineup
dope.
is yeah. So it
And when is
starts
this
from
happening?
7 o'clock to 12:30, but I feel like it could go later, but just depending on how people feel, like because everybody wants to get up early and hit.
And this is
nails.
Thursday, right?
So yeah, so that's the Thursday the 16th.
Yeah, yeah. So, one thing that's going to be really dope about this is if you look at the lineup. So you've got a lot of like house and dance, and then you've also got mod bap, which is what Corey, myself, Ali the architect, like what
Voltage
we kind of
controller.
specialize in. Voltage controller. Is voltage controller performing?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh
for
god
sure.
damn,
Yep.
this is gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
So like yeah, like our mod bap crew is gonna be out there. Plus we got a dope dance squad. It's gonna be really cool because you're gonna have a dance vibe, which is mad chill, with a mod bap vibe, which is mad chill. So it's just gonna be a good night. Like I'm really and I'll tell you right now, I know for a fact, like some of the people that are already gonna be in attendance as just like people wanting to come and hang out. It's gonna be star-studded attendance too. Like it's gonna be so live. I can't wait.
And the awesome
gonna
part
be a
too
lot
is
of
we have a
dope
ton of
giveaways.
giveaways. So in between each set, we're giving away something. So, and just to, as Corey kind of threw up on the screen there, like we have cool stuff from Empress Effects, WMD, ASM, noise engineering, then we have our big YouTube guys, you, Corey, B-Boy Tech Report, Caputo, AfroRec, you, Ken, all doing like giving away download packs and or some t-shirts and things like that. So we have a lot of good stuff going out for everyone attending. So they'll have a good time with music and a chance to win some really cool stuff. So
Yo, is ASM giving away a Hydra synth?
I cannot say.
Listen, here's what
I'll
I'll
just
say.
say you should just come to the event and find out what you can do.
If I was somebody who didn't have a Hydra synth and wanted a Hydra synth, I'm just saying I would be there.
Damn, son. You said a lot.
But really, I'm just saying that just that people would touch my
Just to
hand and be
give
like,
us a
"Oh,
little heads up, right?
you did presets on a Hydra synth. Oh, I want to touch your hand."
Yeah.
That's like what I do to James Bernard when I go up to him. I'm like, "Oh, Spectrasonics, what's up, man?"
I used your preset for my demo at Perfect Circuit.
Oh yeah. So hold on, you just did a show. So tell us a little bit about how your show went.
Well, I did the Hydrosynth demo at Perfect Circuit, and I had fun. It sounded great. And thank you for helping me with that 303 like patch on it too, because it sounded amazing. So
Yeah, man, that was fun to make.
It
There's
was,
a little,
yeah, good times.
yeah. And so, let's see. So, hold on. Okay, so we're gonna close out the show in about 5 minutes. But with the time that we got left to go, I want to talk about Ken's studio.
Oh
So,
God.
just to kind of wrap that up in a nice, neat bow, though, if you're gonna be in town for NAM, you need to come by this event because it's gonna be a lot of fun, and it's just gonna be, think about that lineup is dope already. There's going to be a lot of techno and mod bap and just variety of music. But then you
Mhm.
get to kick it with those people that are doing live sets between sets and giveaways between sets. So it's just going to be a good time.
Okay, I
Uh,
want to
If
say
you
at
don't
this
mind,
point that I'm gonna need a ride. So if
okay,
I
someone,
got you. We got you.
yeah,
Oh
Don't
yeah, yeah, we'll
we got
definitely get
we
you there.
options.
got you.
Hey, just
cool.
not to get real specific because you're on live air and I don't want you to get assassinated or anything by any weird people. But yeah. So what area are you staying at for Nam? Because like we're gonna be in what area are we gonna be in? Hacienda Heights.
Yeah, Hacienda Heights, which is just a couple
Okay.
miles from there.
So
Yeah.
anyway, I'm just saying like we're gonna be out that way and we're gonna be having a good time. We got a lot of cool people coming through. So I'm
So where? Because I
regardless.
haven't, because
Roscoe's.
I haven't booked
Oh yeah.
anything.
That, oh,
Roscoe's,
Joe's is next to
Roscoe's,
Roscoe's.
Roscoe's, Roscoe's is
Roscoe's.
all
Joe's
I
is
got to
right across the
say.
street from Roscoe's. In fact, I think they own it, but
Oh wow,
Okay.
being
dope.
owners. I
Roscoe's
think.
and then maybe some Slater's 50/50, which I don't know what your
Yeah.
situation is with red meat, but if you like a good burger, Slater's 50/50, their burgers are 50% meat and 50% bacon, and you can put bacon everything on everything. I'm talking bacon ketchup, bacon
It's true.
asparagus, bacon cheese. It don't matter. Like it's so good. They got maple bacon shakes that you can put bourbon in.
I still didn't recover from Christmas, and I think I'm not gonna recover from this NAM
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
this summer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you roll with us, and we're gonna be
We already
eating.
know.
Yeah.
But for me, I
Food
know that
instead.
there's no food recovery from Thanksgiving through now.
Yeah. It starts
I
in
can imagine.
So November through January, forget about any kind of
right.
food recovery. It starts in February.
Yep.
Okay. Notice, notice.
Before we get off the whole NAM topic, I just want to shout out one more thing, if that's cool.
Mhm.
Because of that week, we for SoCal we have that Chris Meyer coming in on the 11th, which is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Saturday before NAM starts, and he's going to do a workshop and a patch and tweak book giveaway and signing during that. So I don't know if any people are coming in a little earlier than NAM, but that starts on Saturday the 11th. And that's definitely RSVP. That's almost filled up. So people, if they're going to do that, they should get on it.
If you don't know who Chris Meyer is, you should definitely check him out. I did a Synth Summit show episode with him as well, so you can go to my channel and find the interview with him. But I mean, this is a guy who's like, he's basically the guy who did the Prophet VS. Like that's him, you know. So, and his modular knowledge is extremely deep. Really great guy, and he has a ponytail. What more could you want? I mean, really, you know.
Yeah, and I think it's dope too that there's a nod to Chris Myers in the Hydrosynth by including
That's
some
right.
of his waveforms in there from the
Well, hold on. Just to be technical about it.
be technical. I don't care.
Okay.
Do it.
So they're not his waveforms.
Okay,
But
the waveforms from that.
yeah, yeah,
That-
because he was actually very like we kind of talked to him and he was very specific about that. He was like, he's like it's cool, like he included my days, not necessarily my waveform, but blah blah. But honestly, it was a tribute to the fact that he's a really great guy.
Mhm.
He gives back to the community a lot, and Glenn is who's in charge of that stuff, Glenn Darcy. And Glenn was included his name in there when he basically did some similar waveforms to the Prophet VS. Is how I'll put it to make it sound nice and legal. I don't know the legality, so I'm not going to even get close. So, but yeah, so when that stuff is in there, you see Chris Mai, I think is how it's put in there. But yeah, like it's a tribute to a guy who's just he gives back so much, and he's such a genuine guy that it's really great to see people like that. He's what I like about the modular community. Put it that way.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like guys like that who have a ton of knowledge, and all they want to do is share that knowledge and learn more.
Yeah, he has that learningmodular.com. That's his website too.
Really
Yeah,
dope.
and he like legitimately is the kind of guy who like wants to actively learn. Like he learns from teaching. Like, and I love that. So
yeah, so he's doing the workshop too on the 11th. And then the last thing I wanted to say for that week is I am giving a workshop at Musicians Institute on the 15th, and that's with Electron. And I'm using the Digitech and how you can kind of use that to either hybrid with your performance or with your production. We're going to go use some Overbridge, and I'm also going to be giving away a Digitech at that event. So that's going to be dope.
okay, so
Good stuff for NAMM, man. You guys, like, NAMM week is, like I said, it's like Christmas.
It's
Christmas.
So I'll show. I'm gonna keep this super short because it's not done. Okay, but
yeah,
I'll keep it.
we're gonna dedicate a show to a walkthrough.
Yeah,
We've gotten that request a couple times.
Post NAMM, like I'll
What the hell? Cut it out.
I don't know what I'm doing here.
You would, Ken.
There we go.
There
Okay.
you go.
So
when we do the dedication show to your studio, though, Ken, you got to clean that up. Okay.
No,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a la carte Ken. So no, I'll keep it super short because it's not done. But I know that like we talk about it all the time, so it'll be cool to like just tell people where I'm at in the stage wise. And I also want to send a huge shout out to a couple of quick people. One, I want to send a big shout out to my buddy at DNR Construction. My buddy Randy actually helped me completely build this place. So previously, I was just outside this room, and if you go which way? That way. I was in literally where like the storage facility is for like the food of the house and that kind of thing, right? That's why you saw like cinder block walls and all that, and it was a very very small space. This room is the room that we've been building. If you look about where this camera is, right? So this is where my garage is. We had to knock down this wall. We had to put up these walls. Like this is all new. And they're all 6-inch thick walls with R49 insulation. So extremely, like the insulation is like this thick and then it's compressed down to like that. So extremely thick insulation shoved into those walls. And on top of that, the beams were floated with a rubber insulation in between them to help isolate even further. And then 5/8 inch thick drywall, which is much thicker drywall than is normal. Normally you get like 1/2 inch thick. Is that 1/2 inch? I don't know. Whatever. Much thicker drywall on there on both sides. So there's going to be a lot more isolation. There were some compromises made in order to get this actually done instead of taking forever because, my house had a fire and, I had a few things happen. I was originally going to completely resilient channel and float my ceiling away from here, which, I still would have liked to have done, but in order to get it done this year, it just wasn't going to happen if I didn't do it this way. So I did not do that. I did mount it to the beams there. So there's some translation from upstairs, which you may or may not be hearing right now because the kids are going crazy up on top. That's actually going to be improved because the acoustic treatment of this room is not done yet. This room is 11 by 21, and the flooring, I'll show you. I was showing Manu before the show. The lighting and everything is handled by my phone, so I can actually just kind of do this.
That's so cool.
That is dope.
Yeah.
So
introducing the pile, ladies and gentlemen.
Right?
So yeah.
Turn those lights back down, Ken.
If you look, the wiring and everything is still on the floor here because the other side of my studio is not done. So the modular set up, the Emax is set up, the Matrix Brute, JDXA, all that kind of stuff. This stuff right here is all set up. However, what's not set up is this whole side of the studio, which is the Rhodes, the turntable setup, the samplers, all that kind of stuff is not done yet. I still have to set all that up. I've decided I'm actually going to move the Rhodes from where it is now, but it's coming along pretty quick at this point, and I've been focused on it. The light switches. This is an important part. So the wiring for this whole setup is done. I have 3 separate circuits. So I have a circuit for the lighting. The lighting is all on its own electrical circuit, and then I have 2 circuits for audio, right? Both audio circuits grounds are tied together and go to the same point so that there will be no ground loop hum. So you can plug into any outlet in this room and not worry about, oh, well, it's not on the same circuit. I'm going to get ground loop hum. You're not going to get that in here because it all goes to the same ground point, right? So that's an important part. The other thing is for only $20, I was able to you can get smart outlets that tie into the same app as my lights, and I can actually, I'll see if I can show this. So on my phone right now, I've got these 2 buttons. There's a green one that says "Welcome to the lab," and then the red one says "Diddy took the keys," which is a throwback to what was that show called? Corey probably knows.
Making the band.
Making the band, where fake ass Puff Daddy was. There it is. So Puff Daddy had like rappers in a studio, and if he didn't like what they were doing, he would take the keys, and they couldn't go into the studio. So I have it on here. It's always been a joke with me and my wife. Yo, like whenever my wife gets mad at me, she's like, "Yo, Diddy's gonna take the keys." So I made a button on there. So if I hit Diddy takes the keys, it stages all of my outlets to shut things off in order. So I don't have to hit like 1,000 buttons in here to shut everything off, and I don't have to hit 1,000 buttons to turn things on. It stages things automatically to bring them on and off how I want from one button, which is honestly
that's real IT of you.
It's one of those little things that like doesn't sound like a big deal, but when you're going in and out of the studio every single day, it makes things so much more pleasurable. You're like, you know what? 5 minutes before I go into the lab, I'm like, bleep, and I walk in, and the lighting is set exactly how I want. Everything is good to go. I don't have to worry about anything, and like I'm just dead sexy. So, it's cool. I just got to get the sound treatment. I have a huge announcement about the sound treatment, but that's going to come later, and I think it's really going to make people happy, not just for me. Like there's going to be some cool stuff going on with sound treatment. So I'm really looking forward to like about a month after NAMM, I'm going to have some really cool news to share with that.
Dope. Yeah, I definitely want to. I want to keep people apprised because I think it's a big deal how you building your studio and putting it all together. And I think that's one of those things that people are always really interested in. And so we should dedicate some time to that at some point. But did we really, I know we're getting kind of short on time because I don't want to run too long, but I wanted to make sure we talked about, did we really talk about the VCMC? Like what it is and what it does?
We probably should at least explain it a bit better because I don't think we explained it at all.
Right. So tell us a little more about the VCMC. I know you have the deal where it's there's a script written for it to work within
Bitwig, but explain to us the crux of what it actually is.
Yeah, what is it?
It's a voltage control MIDI controller, basically. So it's a 20 HP Eurorack module. It has 8 faders with 8 buttons and DIN 5 and USB connection. So it's a MIDI compliant device or will send the MIDI information via the DIN 5. And then you can map every single control independently with a screen. The thing is that then you have CV and gate input. So basically it's a CV to MIDI converter, but with the twist of automating the movements of an already existing MIDI controller. So it gives you the performative side of a MIDI controller with the CV conversion into MIDI. And then the beauty is that then you can map everything independently, or you can link. For example, you can link the fader to the CV and make the fader act as a attenuator or zooming. So and then you can map everything to all sorts of MIDI messages, basically.
It's pretty.
So it's huh?
Oh, I was saying it's awesome. That I don't want.
I have some. I have
I,
some.
because
it's super
no,
easy. Like I was saying earlier that when I got it, I didn't open the manual or anything.
yeah,
I did my pop it in. Let's see if I can just use it right
yeah,
away. And it was
yeah,
very intuitive. The screen is super helpful. I opened up Ableton. I connected it. I just mapped. Well, first thing I went was I took my Digitech and I mapped some volume and some mute to that to one, and I used that to mute some, and control some controls on the
yeah,
Digitech with CV messaging, that was easy. And then going into Ableton, I just mapped it to like even some volumes just to see how quick, just to get an idea. Because as I told you guys earlier, that I'm redoing my case once again. And this is one of the modules that's going to be this, and the ES8 are going to be sort of the
yeah,
command of this setup.
yeah,
So I was doing that to kind of get an idea of what I want to use it for. And it was super easy. Like I
yeah.
didn't I haven't even opened the manual yet. So if you're familiar with
I'm,
MIDI and that you can just apply that same philosophy and easy, look up the
yeah,
CP messaging to whatever it is that you want to map it to and just get to it.
And that's dope. And
I have a.
it
I have a.
opens up like possibilities
yeah,
with almost any of your synths or other stuff that you have, right? So like
Mhm.
yeah,
for instance, there's also always stuff that can be addressed by MIDI CC messaging that's not on the front panel of whatever synths.
Right.
And then so
yeah,
now you have some controls over that, but then you also have the ability to CV those controls that you
yeah,
didn't have regular basic access to before. So it
yeah,
opens up a lot of really dope possibilities if
yeah.
you're into that sort of thing. So it's
I've got some specific questions
go
that
for it.
let's get a little bit more nerdy.
Okay.
So my first question is have you measured latency with it, and what kind of latency are you seeing?
I did a latency test while I was sending MIDI to a MIDI thing,
Mm-hmm.
a Befaco MIDI thing, which is a MIDI to CV converter.
Okay.
Then from the MIDI thing, CV and gate to the VCMC, and then VCMC back to the computer. The
Okay.
total latency of the whole circuit was around 2 milliseconds,
What?
more or less.
Hold on, you bullshit
But
me?
but 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 no no no. But if you want to get geeky, let's get geeky. Because of the nature of the circuit, the all the inputs are multiplexed.
Okay.
So
Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
instead of having all of them routed directly to the microcontroller, there were no pins enough. So we needed to have like chips in the middle that will be reading the inputs and then sending the information to the microcontroller. Due to little microcontroller limitations, the time that it takes a whole round to
Yeah,
happen,
round
it's
trip latency. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's another couple of milliseconds.
That's still absurd.
Mm.
I'm excited. Like you have
And
me like nipples are pointed, I'm ready to go. Like that's
yeah,
awesome. But
yeah.
no, and I say that
But
because the other products on the market are not that fast. Like they're just not. Like I'm thinking of
yeah.
other things on the market, and I can't think of anything that actually has that low of latency on it.
Basically, the test is if you go if you want to convert a 1K audio signal into MIDI messages, you will start to get in trouble. But you need to be using audio. We're talking about black MIDI.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Mhm.
So just so people know, just for the layman, black MIDI is when the MIDI sheet is so dense that the screen is basically black.
it's it's a core time of MIDI mess. It's we are talking about sending MIDI messages at audio rates,
Mm, mm.
which is
Okay.
like some people will think about it and will actually do it. In fact, one of our beta testers, he's doing this crazy shit like. So we needed to implement the panic because of
Yeah.
him.
Yeah,
And then
that's proper testing right there. I agree.
and we have to implement for him mapping the panic into a gate.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, that's
So
good. That's
so
good.
so he had a gate input to send
So
a
he could
panic
do a
every now
reset.
and then.
He could do like a reset every couple bars or something, so
Yeah.
that it would just be like, "Hey, I need a breather." Like, yeah.
Or even using it as a musical because we
Pause.
are talking about like crazy chaotic things using ultra complex signals to. It's this guy that bought every single piece of MIDI gear from the 90s below 80 euros in the local market. So he has like this mountain of MIDI gear that he's controlling with his modular, doing
That sounds like
this.
Neil. My buddy Neil does
It's-
that.
So he's doing like a sonic catastrophe using chaotic thing, catastrophic. So let's say that the model can handle craziness, but until some point.
Yeah, for those of you who have not seen Black MIDI, because I'm seeing it in the chat, you need to go watch some YouTube videos on Black MIDI. It's actually
Right
it's
now,
legitimately
right now.
entertaining.
Go.
Like it's really dope.
Shut
Like
down, close this thing and go.
it's really
What are you
dope.
doing here?
After the show.
Yeah, it is actually legitimately cool, and you bring up a great point. Like that is actually a great beta test, and that's some of the things that I've done with a lot of my gear is like you can actually go online and you can download Black MIDI files and run it through your gear, and you could just watch your gear fry. It's great. It's
Yeah,
really
that's-
fun. Like you'll see which gear. Like don't ever try to put an ASRX up to Black MIDI. It will not work. Like
So, and before we finish, now that we're talking about BCNC, allow me please to drop some little thingy that I have here, because it's very nice to have this MIDI controller, but some people are actually more interested in having something more portable, less performative, and so we are working in this thing. Let me see if I can.
oh my god, I feel it. Do you guys feel it?
Well, I'm like getting
I
closer.
feel
to
it.
the screen right now. We're all like,
I feel it. Oh.
So it's
Oh, am I allowed to
CB.
show that? Right? You want to show that, right? Okay.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Nice.
Oh,
So it's
yeah. Zoom back in. Zoom back in.
Yeah.
6 HP version. It's laggy. Okay, here. So yeah, it's just 8 CB inputs in 6 HPs with the encoder and the screen, and then the MIDI out needed to be in the mini jack and the USB.
So let me ask a quick question.
So
The
here you
MIDI,
can see the
the MIDI out.
Yeah.
What format is that? Is it Korg? Is it BeatStep Pro? Like, is it switchable?
I think it's gonna be Korg.
I would really like it if you had
We are in a
pins
good
on the
point
back.
where we could do
So
it.
here's what I'm gonna say.
Switchable.
I think that you are correct in selecting Korg because that's what MIDI as the organization has decided on. So I would agree with that. However,
but
there's a
they
lot of
decided
people out
2.5
there.
micro mini jack.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there who already have stuff that doesn't follow that standard. So a little set of dip pins on the back that you could select between would really make it easy for
Maybe.
everyone.
Maybe.
Or you could make it selectable in the
I have to say
software.
that it really breaks my heart. So it
What
really
does?
breaks my heart, the need of using this kind of adapters.
Oh,
Because
really?
adapter
You don't
gets
like it?
lost. And
You,
and
well,
then-
hold on
I
now.
don't-
Hold
I
on.
don't
Hold
like
on.
that. Of
Would
course,
you
if
would you feel the same? Would you feel the same if they were super common and everywhere?
Who knows?
Listen, I have a big problem with the mini jack to jack converters.
See,
Those
I
little
don't.
suckers get lost all the time.
They
No,
do.
but
I hate
yeah,
it. So
but my
It's
point
not a
is that
lie.
my point is that they just started, like they kind of just came into into existence not that long ago, and you're gonna start seeing way more of them. I already have in my studio. I have like 5 of them just hanging on a rack. So to me, it's the same as a MIDI cable,
yeah.
and some of them I leave plugged into a MIDI cable that's not even
Mhm.
plugged in. So it doesn't bother me
Yeah.
that much. Now, there is a legitimate gripe that I know that some
Yeah.
people have, and that is that it doesn't always have the ground connection that people want, right? So in certain situations, it can
Uh-huh.
cause ground loop hum, but I personally have never ran into that issue. I've heard of it and I respect the problem, but I haven't had that issue myself. So
No.
I don't know. All I'm saying is
Let's
that
see.
I like it. I actually
I'm
like
just
that
I'm,
format.
So is this basically kind of like just the little brother of the VCMC? So you have the inputs and then
it's
you
the
can kind
same,
of
but
select. Yeah.
And when is this
yeah,
coming
yeah,
out?
it's basically soon.
Okay.
I have I just ordered the final prototype. This is like musicians like the final one, okay, final one, okay, master, final one, okay,
Yeah,
mix,
that's right.
foundation, these kind of
Yeah.
things.
I like it.
So with these things happen the same. No, you always think that this is the final, this is the
This is
one,
the
this is
last
the
one.
one.
One more change.
So yeah,
One
the
more.
answer
Final,
is
final,
yeah,
final,
yeah.
one,
I'm
final.
not gonna touch it. I'm not gonna touch it anymore. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Don't touch it.
No, this looks great. Yeah. So, is there any possibility, like any way to like chain more inputs? Like what's so? What are you using? Like, is
Yes.
it like a DAC that you're using that's going into it, and that's how many inputs the DAC has, or like what's the reasoning for the number of channels?
Okay. So
Because obviously, 16
because
channels
the
input is
multiplexer
what
is
we would want. Like.
yeah, but for example, the initial idea, this crazy the crazy conversation, it was because of an octa track. So we
Okay.
were talking about Diego, my mate. He's an octa track crazy person. He
Who would have
bought and
thought
sold the octa track
Electron
like
would
three,
have
four
had
times.
something to do with
So
that?
yeah. So he in one of these moments when he was loving the octa track, because then the month later he was hating it and selling it. He was saying, okay, and then what I need it's a controller from the modular to control the 8 channels and this. And so back then, let's say that the number 8 came a little bit from this. I'm not gonna say that that's the reason,
No, I
but the
understand.
initial conversation was okay. It has to be 8. Also 8 is like a reasonable number in this kind of controllers. Of course,
Sure.
16 is better, but then it's like 36 HP's model. Like
Yeah, that's
it's
it. So at this
so
point,
what
it's a
I
more
did.
modular kind of idea. You get 8 of them on there. It's a small 6 HP. If you need more than that, 16 or
Yeah,
so, you get 2 of them through your case. So
yeah.
I can see the making sense.
Yeah, so this is a tricky conversation, because I had the conversation with the Bitwig guy, with Frederick, and
Mm.
he asked me that if it would be possible to have more channels, more like to make it bigger, and the quick question is yes, there is an expansion port there, and it's possible to have to it's possible. We're not gonna get too into that. It's possible. And I tell them, hey, listen, but then you're gonna have like a monster MIDI controller on your rack. When the space on your rack, usually it's a big concern. And he told me, true. But when I go playing live and I'm traveling with my modular and with my computer, and then I need to get one of these Novation controllers on the top, and then they put me a table this big, where the hell do I put the MIDI controller? So he was suggested that he prefers to have everything into his rack. And then is when my head is like click, Manu, this is the same thing you are doing with the XMix system.
Hmm.
XMix is huge, right? You could have an external one, but you do want to have your own mixer on your rack,
Hmm.
and the space
I have to
makes
say what
sense
you're saying is
because you
true.
don't want to rely on the mixer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
What you're saying is
but
true.
it was working for the mixer for me, but it hmm, because you need three auxiliary sends, and you ask for a mixer on the spot. And the technical guy or the stage manager, maybe there is no stage manager, and the guy that was supposed to bring the mixer is a stoner and forgot to bring the mixer, or they
Facts of life.
Facts.
Or just forgot some cables.
you know
Yeah,
what I
that's right.
mean.
I got the
It's
mixer, but
usually
nothing to make it
there's like
connect.
and
5
All of
cables
it's
that
all
are
of it.
missing.
But that's really too why I gravitated toward the new VCMC, because when I started to really travel and I have the big 12U case before I got this little one, and that case I had no problem, none. Traveling with it, I just put it on a little roller, put it through TCA, no big deal. The problem came when I had all my controllers and had to pull them out of my backpack and do that whole thing and hold up the line, and then I double
Yep.
scanning. My modular went right through on the case. They saw it. They looked at it. It was fine. All the other stuff I had to take out of the bag and all this drama.
Yep.
And so when that VCMC, I was like, perfect.
Yeah.
In the rack,
Exactly.
in the
Exactly.
case, close it up, put it through the belt, less
Yeah.
drama. So for traveling,
And
for
that's
sure.
it.
No, I'm super excited
I
about
think
that.
For
that
sure.
this small version is gonna help.
This
Nice.
is the type of module I've actually been speaking with people about for a long time. I've spoke with Delptronics about it a lot. Like the need for proper CV2 MIDI with low latency is huge. So a project that I worked very closely on was the Hydrasynth, and in the Hydrasynth, the
Oh, I
mod
didn't know
make.
that.
Well, shut up. So the mod matrix, you can access everything via MIDI CC in the mod matrix. And I've got this thing over here that's green. And I'm like, man, I want to use my green stuff. And yeah, that's perfect for that. So I'm super excited that you guys finally did that. And I mean, honestly, you guys have a lot of really just useful modules that are not like pretentious for the sake of being pretentious, as some of the companies seem to be doing, and they're not just overly abstract, or let me hide 15 modes inside of one module. Like, they're just very useful, straightforward modules, and I very much appreciate that.
Agree.
Hmm.
So, hey, man, actually, we're gonna go ahead and start to close it out because I gotta get up and make some errands before my phone rings 3 more times. So, anything anybody want to say in closing?
I can't wait to see you all in a few weeks.
Thank
It's
you
gonna be
for
fun.
having me.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you on this side of the pond, Manu. It's gonna be cool.
Passed
And,
out in your
Yeah,
local
yeah.
Roscoe soon.
It's gonna be fantastic. Looking
Passed
forward
out
to
in
it.
your local Roscoe. No doubt. Hey, yo,
Always
thanks to
fun.
everybody that came
Okay.
through in the chat, all the regulars, and it's been a good show. A lot of good information, and yeah, looking forward to having you on again, Manu.
Yes.
Yeah.
Take care,
Hey,
guys.
man,
It's been fun.
anytime
Thank
you
you
want
for
to come
having
on
me.
just to chop it up, like
Very
even
soon.
if it's not about like your specific stuff or whatever, you just ever want to just come on and just vibe out,
Totally.
we're here.
Yep. All right, cool. Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna take the. Okay, bye.
Bye.